Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This is Your Call, presented by the Headset app, the game-ready communication solution designed for coaches who want more clarity and connection on the sideline. Today we dive into strategies that shape championship cultures, and our guest is Dave Mastroianni, who is the assistant coach and leadership coordinator at New Canaan High School in Connecticut. In this conversation, Coach Mastroianni shares how he transformed a traditional lesson-based leadership program into a dynamic player-driven model that emphasizes empathy, vulnerability, and real-time problem solving. His insights reveal how meeting athletes where they are emotionally and developmentally can lead not only to better leaders, but also greater team success on and off the field. Before we get going, let's listen to a quick word from our sponsor, the Headset app.
The Headset app, a communication platform for coaches that makes sense. After all the technology we need is already in our pocket. No more time-consuming setup, lugging around cases, storing equipment, worrying about range, or finding the right location for your base station. The Headset app is an encrypted voice platform that is compatible with any Bluetooth headset or earbuds. The Headset app is a more secure, reliable, and easy-to-use communication system, delivered at just a fraction of the cost. Just open the app, put in your headphones, and go. At practice, on game day, or whenever. The Headset app. Download in the App Store or on Google Play today.
Here's Coach Mastroianni on his player leadership system.
Hi, my name is Dave Mastroianni. I'm an assistant coach at New Canaan High School here in New Canaan, Connecticut. But primarily I run our leadership program, and that's going to kind of be my focus today. This is something I've developed over time, and it's something that I think every year is something I'm changing, I'm working on. I think I kind of paid it heed when I was a head coach, but I didn't have a lot of time to dedicate towards it. But now that I'm like a dad and I work for a company that this is what I do leadership training, I've been able to really kind of mold and almost adapt to the needs of the team every year. I think as a coach, sometimes we prescribe, right? Saying, we want to tell kids, hey, this is what it means to be a leader. This is how it looks. Here are the necessary skills. And now do this. That's how I started with this. And I think I missed the boat with it, especially now that I'm looking at it, as a dad. Especially, I've got 3 young kids, and everything I do with them is an explanation of what's going on, but more importantly, kind of taking stock of where they are. And I think for the longest time, I never took stock of where our kids were as players in order to kind of tailor what we were going to talk about, how we were going to approach our leadership stuff, how we were going to approach and what ultimately is character. I know, around the country, people are doing this in one form or another, but I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the evolution of this for me. When I first started, it was a 10-lesson leadership/character prescribed, like, stand in front of a classroom and let's talk about this. Maybe there was an activity here or there. And it worked. Honestly, that was too classroom-ish for me. And I feel like I dropped the ball, right? Because I wasn't meeting them where they were, right? Like, what do I know, right? Now I'm 45. Yeah, 45. And to me, leadership and character means one thing, but there, we've got kids in there who are freshmen through seniors, right? So we're talking an age range of 14 through 18-year-olds. And, you learn a lot from people you've worked with before. And one of the coaches I worked with for a long time said, it's not my job to understand them. It's their job to meet me at my level. And I thought that was such a bad way to go about things. And so I reviewed everything through that lens of like, oh my gosh, am I meeting them at their level, or am I trying to drag them to me? So what this has developed into, I've been doing this at New Canaan since 2021. What this has developed into is almost an adaptable curriculum. There are some base things that we're going to talk about every year, but it's more now become, I want to address their needs. For instance, we start out every conversation. So we do leadership council once a week. We start it in June, and then it carries right through the end of the season. And, we've been fortunate enough now. We've been playing right through the state championship game. So that's the middle of December. So we have those meetings once a week, sometimes more frequently. And the things I want to talk to them about, and I always open every single conversation with, what's rattling around in your head? What's taking up space? Because I think the thing we don't do well as adults, forget about coaches, as adults, is really take in what's going through kids' heads. Right? They have a whole different world of problems than we do. It could be a really difficult physics test coming up, or it could be their dog just died, or things could be great. Right? But what we do, we open every single conversation. We go around the room, or if we're on Zoom, we go around Zoom. We say, all right, what's in your head? What's taking up space in your head? And sometimes I have to set that example. Like I'll tell them, be like, oh man, like I have this project due at work that the Navy needs to take a look at, and that's due Friday, right? So that's taking up space in my head. So the first thing I found is I want to take stock in them. And what I'm trying to do there is get them to understand, like, hey, number one, feelings matter. And I think young boys don't recognize that, especially as football players. And I don't think we do a great job of hammering that home. Because football, we look at it and we say football is the prime example of what it means to be masculine, right? And I think masculine and feelings don't go hand in hand in a lot of people's eyes. So one of the things I try to start right away with is, hey, one, it's important to be vulnerable, and two, empathy is probably the most important trait you could have as a man. So those two things are they carry through the entire leadership course. But what it really has become is it's leadership / performance / dealing with adversity. There was a tragedy last year involving, the community and so there you had to play therapist. The next week we had to get ready for a really big game. So there it became, all right, some performance coaching. But I'll be honest with you, like I said, as a head coach, I don't know if I had the time or the inclination to do that the right way. Whereas now as an assistant really who gets to just focus on this, I think I've been able to really create something with these kids that helps them. I don't want to say you need to learn this, right? You need to know how to do this. It's how can we coach them to get there? When I started this out, I think I was teaching leadership. Now I really think I'm coaching leadership and making good men, right? Because what we've created is an environment where they're comfortable to open up and talk and say, hey, this is really bothering me, or hey, coach, like this happened at practice today. How do we address that? And now it becomes, all right, let's give them the tools to go be captains, to go be leaders, to go be masters of their domain, right? So like this past year, we identified 5 things that we needed to see in practice every day, and they charted it out. And the next day after practice, before the next one, they would go over that chart with the team, be like, hey, focus wasn't where we needed it to be yesterday. Let's really focus on that and really become true advocates, extensions of the coaching staff, right? That's what you want out of your leaders, is to be a good liaison between the team and the coaching staff. And I think they're really starting to grasp that. So we're doing things like that. We're charting things we want to see improvement in. One year we did leadership projects. This past year, probably, leadership projects really didn't apply. And now the offshoot of, or the bonus of what we've seen, we've won 3 state championships in a row. Yes, we're talented. I'm not going to argue that at all. I really think the kids are learning how to take control, right? You want it to be player-led. Good teams are always player-led. Sure, every now and then a coach has got to get on you, but we want the kids to take accountability for their own progress. We want kids to take accountability for their own failures and make the adjustments. And I think that's a lot of what we've progressed to with this leadership / character building sessions. And like I said, the offshoot is we've won state championships 3 years in a row. And I think, at least some of that has to do with the fact that our kids are in a really good place mentally by the time they get to the playoffs. I think they take care of each other. I think they really look out for each other. And I really think they know how to hold each other accountable using those things that we talked about, like, empathy and vulnerability. And I think they really, by the time we get to post-Thanksgiving, when it's time to go play in the playoffs, I think they're really mentally in a great spot to go do that. And it shows. I mean, this past year, just one more example of how I think it's going really well. Our quarterback identified himself as a very positive leader. And he said, I'm a positive leader because I really believe that I need to offset. And he was talking about the outside linebacker who was he was the enforcer type leader. And for a 17-year-old kid to recognize, I need to change my leadership style in order to accommodate and offset somebody else's leadership style who's way on the other end of the spectrum. I mean, my goodness, that's a pretty insightful and, dare I say, grown-up thing to do. And to be able to do that at 17 was really impressive. So, like I said, I think this has been a progression every year. I think it is paying dividends, no question, both on the field and off. We really have had very few, if any, character / something that makes the football team embarrassed, school embarrassed, community embarrassed. Few, if any, of those situations. I'd like to think that this leadership / character development has really played a big part, or at least a significant part in that. And I look forward to continue to do it.
Thanks for tuning in to Your Call with Coach Mastroianni. His player-first, emotionally intelligent approach to leadership development shows how coaching goes far beyond the X's and O's. If you're looking to create a culture where athletes take ownership, support one another, and grow into leaders for life, his model offers a blueprint worth following. Make sure to check out the Headset app and see how it can level up your sideline communication. Visit theheadsetapp.com to learn more, and stay tuned for the next edition of Your Call.